Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. This is Time to Live podcast with Quad and Rev. I am Reverend, and my
And I'm
compatriot,
Quad. Hello.
my compatriot Quad. It is the 11th of, I think it's May, but it'll be the 12th by the time you guys hear this. And welcome to our podcast where we talk about games, primarily video games, but we don't mind dabbling into other things. Let's get started. I'm going to let you take the lead on this because I'm really jazzed from my lack of sleep plus the excitement of this morning for me.
Good. All right. So let's just start off and do the regular old thing. So what have you been playing this week?
This week I have not played anything. Like literally, I played 2 missions of Tenchu Z, and I played about 10 minutes of Minecraft. And other than that, nothing. Like, not even a
exciting.
phone game.
Well, not a lot to talk about that then.
Yeah, not really.
So I'm going to go through my list now.
Okay.
Okay, so I started up DayZ again, because I got asked to play some of it. And I played some of it, and it was fun while it lasted. And that was in Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead.
How long did it last?
Well, we played for maybe an hour or two. I don't know, we had... It was a special server where you spawn with the MRs, which are basically, sniper rifles. Lower powered ones. And let's see what else. I've been playing I tested out some more Arma 3 yesterday. Went around flying in helicopter. That was fun. What else? I've been playing Dota 2.
Of course.
Yeah. I've played Mountain Blade, Warband, and with Fire and Sword. What else? I have been playing more. I've played Star Drive. There's something else I've been playing as well. Which is, I've been playing Master of Orion 2 as well.
The classic.
Yes, it's actually the first time I played it, and actually, beat it. But that was just in the lowest setting, because I wanted to learn how the game actually works.
Now, did you get that on Good Old Games?
Yes, I did.
Yes,
I did. Of course, everyone gets stuff like that on GOG. There's just nothing. It's just a really good website.
It really is, but there's sometimes that games are available on multiple platforms. I mean, Fez, for example, I have now purchased a copy of Fez on all 3 release platforms that they have.
Mm-hmm.
At least 1 copy.
Okay.
I want to support him.
Yeah. I don't like the guy myself, but I know his game is good, but I just haven't had the time to play it yet.
I'm gonna buy you a copy on Steam. Like right as soon as we're done recording, I'm logging into Steam and buying you a copy, and you have to play it this week.
I can just buy it myself. I'm not pressed for money.
Neither am I. I'm gonna buy you the copy because then you're not gonna have any excuse to not play it.
Fine.
I win.
Well, you know what you have to do when you get a proper computer then.
Oh, I know.
That's going to be good. Right, so that's what we've been playing. There's not too much to talk about that. We may get back into it later.
Well, what have you, as a kind of side note to that, what have you been watching?
Watching? Haven't been watching much. I've been watching some StarCraft 2 stuff and some Dota 2 stuff. I watched the last final, I think it was last year's Dota 2 finals and something or other that I think Valve organized, where Gabe Newell gave out the award. What else? I've been watching some Guns of Icarus stuff. That's been fairly interesting to watch. What else?
So, are any of those somebody you would feature?
Not really. It's just the Dota 2 YouTube channel, and then you have Total Biscuit, Husky Starcraft. There's just a bunch of people, but we may as well go to featured Let's Play because let's see. I have a fairly small one, but he does put a lot of effort in his stuff, and he just doesn't seem to get the recognition that he should have. And he is currently doing Hitman Absolution. I think he's doing Sniper Elite V2 as well, and some FTL. He does a lot of stuff.
Starting to sound familiar.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There are many people that are actually doing those things, but the person I'm talking about is IR Purple.
Yep.
He's really good, and he has a Scottish accent. So you just need to go check him out. He's actually fairly good.
He's good. He's hilarious when he's drunk, which is most of the time.
Yep.
And if you want to ever see somebody butcher the English language in a fantastically artful way, join the IRC on /pound Let's Play on Game Surge.
Yes.
He has an artistic ability to just ruin English. It's beautiful. I'm a grammar Nazi and a spelling and punctuation Nazi, and dear Lord, he just makes me laugh. He's got such a great sense of humor.
And you've just given up on actually trying to get him to spell properly, because I did that just... I think it was the second day he came in. I just gave up on trying on telling him to spell properly. That's quite funny.
But yeah, I would definitely agree with that one. The one that I want to feature though is somebody that somehow I have interacted with for a really long time in the IRC channel, but apparently he has this anti-being a whore gene. And Viva Vizer, Vivavizer, really cool cat. I'm loving his commentary. He's got a lot of energy, and right now he's kind of doing a bounce around of League of Legends and Bully, and then he does some random other stuff as well. But no, really, really impressed me, and I've been watching him throughout the week as well.
Good. Yeah, I've checked out some of his stuff, but I just haven't had really the time to check out everything. But it does seem like a decent Let's Player. So do go check him out. Viva Visa. I think it's Viva Visa with a Z. So yeah.
Yeah, with a Z.
Yeah. Go check him out. And IR Purple, of course.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So other than that, you want to know what I've been watching?
Do I? Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so you here have been hearing me talk about this for like the last 72 hours nonstop, but to those of you listening and that aren't in the IRC channel where I'm absolutely spamming constantly, there is an absolutely awesome competition going on in France right now called Battle of the Nations. This is the 5th year they're doing it. It's the largest competition that they've had to date. There are over 41 teams from around the world, and full armor, blunted metal weapons of realistic weight and proportions and materials, and they go out and they beat the hell out of each other until there's only one team standing. It's, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I watched a video of it, and I saw people with, I saw one person with a halberd, and he was just pounding a guy's head.
Yeah.
Just hitting him in the head, and I saw that the helmet was being dented.
Oh yeah,
Jesus
no,
Christ.
these guys are brutal.
Yeah.
Last year, like people's fingers were getting cut off, and bones injured on the USA's team that went over. One of our guys shattered his shoulder blade in a fight. This year has been pretty low key in terms of injuries, a fact for which I'm thankful, but it's still been really brutal. We've sent we've sent at least 2 people, possibly 3, to the hospital for serious injuries. Yesterday, I thought that a Polish fighter had died. Like, it looked like he was dead. Fortunately, he didn't die. He just had a severe concussion, had both arms and a leg broken, all in one fight.
Ow.
Like, these guys are brutally vicious, and they are, oh my gosh, it is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that type of stuff, you know, the really hardcore injury making.
I'm not a big fan of the injuries either, because that means that guy's not going to be able to fight for at least a year. But the fact that he was still up and fighting, like, his arm broke and he kept fighting with it, and then his other arm broke and then his leg broke at the same time. Like, it was kind of a fluke of accidental, you know, happenstance. But oh my, it is so inspiring to see these guys. And, you know, some of them are pretty small, some of them are huge. I mean, we had on Team USA, our average player was 37 years old. Our average height was 6'2", and our average weight was like 225 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And we were on the average, like, ours was about the average for the teams that were competing.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Belgian fighter that was like 8 feet tall, huge guy, and, like, I don't know, the sense of camaraderie amongst the fighters is just, it's amazing to watch. You know, before a match, they'll go out and, you know, they're about to beat each other unconscious, and they'll go out and they will hug each other and shake hands and wish each other luck, and then they go back to their respective side, and then battle starts, and they are brutally all over each other, and as soon as the battle's over, they're helping each other up and giving each other hugs and congratulations. And gotta check it out tonight. Tomorrow rather is the last day.
Mm-hmm.
So fighting starts at like 9 a.m. France time, so I don't know what that is for you, but it's midnight for me.
That's the same time for me as, well, they have the same time as me, so.
Okay, check them out. Tomorrow's the big finale, 21 v 21s.
I probably won't check it out.
Okay, fair enough. But to our audience, you should go check it out.
If you have an interest in it, of course. Yeah,
check it out whether you have an interest or not. Stay watching it if you have an interest.
Yeah, so that was Battle of Nations, right?
Battle of Nations, yes.
Battle of Nations. Yeah. Yeah. So that's
okay,
cool.
So I've rambled about sword fighting.
Yep. The obligatory thing. So what else? I don't know. I don't think there's anything else. Let's just go over to the topic of the day. So we're gonna talk on DLC.
Another hot button topic.
Yeah. So, is there not really anything, you know, big controversial DLC thing? That's
well, not recently. What I really wanted to talk about was some of the ways that companies are trying to get around the stigma of DLC. Well, I mean, we're both gamers, and most of our audience is also gamers, so everybody's aware of the pain and anguish and the bitterness when you go out and you buy a game and you install it or you throw it in your Xbox, and as soon as the game boots up, you're hit with an advertisement for, you know, buy this DLC, it'll add this really important character and blah, 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 you know, add an extra 4 hours of your story. And then you have to, you just shelled out $60 for this game, and now you've got to pay $10 or $20 to get this integral piece.
Yeah.
And that leaves a really bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths. You know, I don't really have to go into how bad that is. But There's been a movement amongst two developers thus far, and I'm assuming it's going to continue carrying on, and more developers are going to get behind this. But they're doing it as a season pass.
Yeah.
And it's a two-parter thing. It's basically a way to generate income from used sales, and it's a way to reward first adopters. So 343 Industries, who took over the Halo series from Bungie, and Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed 3 have started doing this season pass. You buy the game new, you get a code, you plug it into your account, and you get X amount of hours of side story, not affecting the main story of the game. It's just completely off on its own thing. And you get the entire season, however long that is. With Assassin's Creed 3, it was something like 6 extra hours of side story, and they spaced it out over, one episode per month. And 4 months into it, 3 months into it, you had all of the episodes, and it was a fun aspect to it.
Yeah, well, we can also bring into this thing sort of let's just do limited editions and deluxe editions as well into this.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So, we all probably know about SimCity, right? They did have a limited and a deluxe edition of their game. Now, the deluxe edition had a bonus, which was the German and English looks and so on, and you also got some buildings.
By looks, I assume you're talking about like skins?
Yeah, sort of. But it wasn't just that. The thing is about that is you got sort of let's say, a German train station and a French police station, and they were both better than the original thing.
Okay, so it was basically you pay extra, you get extra bonus.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Why not?
Because, it's sort of you can become better than other people by just you spending more money on the game.
But is SimCity really a competitive game?
It can be.
How?
Well, you can have competitions, for example, where you are trying to be the one that builds up a town fastest, or a successful town, or a really specialized town. Have the best layout of your town, having the best, let's say, hospital coverage and all that.
So this, I'm assuming this only applies to the most recent SimCity, the one that had all of these problems?
Yes.
Okay. So, in that case, it's not really a competitive scene. It's the players are inventing competition.
Pretty much.
Okay. So, I mean, that's a tough one. Because in principle, I agree with you. Being able to spend money to gain a decided advantage in a competitive game, I'm way against. I am so against it, it's not funny. But in a game that is not inherently competitive, I don't necessarily see the problem with it.
Well, the thing is, you just usually don't want to force people to pay more to get content that can help them improve their game. I don't like that, but it's probably the same thing as, all the Sims DLC that have been popping up over the years for both the first, well, not both, but for the Sims, the first Sims, Sims 2, and Sims 3, and all the other knockoff Sims games.
So Let me ask you then, if you're against it in this instance, are you also against it in, say, Mass Effect 3, where you can purchase a single player DLC pack that gives you access to certain upgraded weapons?
No. This is just the deluxe editions that you purchase on release, for example. Where you can't purchase... Well, the thing is about that thing, you can't purchase a DLC pack to get those things.
Ever?
No, you can't. But the thing is, after a while, they did add a upgrade for the limited edition, I think, so you could upgrade to it. I think.
See, and that to me that just makes sense, because we've seen that in other releases where they, as a day one bonus, as if you bought it brand new day one, you got X, and that X was 32% more effective than whatever your default was. And then months down the road, or a couple of weeks down the road, they released it as a purchasable upgrade. So,
well, the thing is that they gave the limited edition upgrade out like 3 days after it came out.
Well, again, I don't see this as being necessarily a huge problem, because it's not a competitive game.
I just still don't like it. I don't like the principle of it. It's just... I just don't like that developers are shelling out for more money just so you can have that one special thing. Sure, you can pay extra to have it, but... I don't know. I just don't like it. It's just something I don't agree with.
I agree with you, and I agree with where your stance is, but I have to play devil's advocate. What's the difference between paying extra for that on release to get an upgraded version of the game, and, say, getting what did Halo 3 come with? A commemorative Spartan helmet case. What's ultimately the difference between that, other than one gives you an in-game reward and one gives you a cool plastic thing to set on your shelf?
The thing about that is that for example, the thing in SimCity is better than the something else, and a cosmetic thing, sure, you can... I don't care about cosmetic. If the deluxe thing only gives cosmetic things, I'm all for it. But if the thing that you get as an extra is better than the original that you get in the original game, it's not... I just don't feel like that's right to do.
You don't feel like it's right for a company to reward their customers who pay them more money? I agree with you. I really do, but I'm trying to find a way to articulate this in such a way that I can feel ethically okay with that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to try and explain everything about how you're feeling, because feelings are weird.
Well, no, definitely, I'll agree with that. But I mean, you can see my frustration with this conversation, and we knew this was going to happen because we're talking about DLC.
Yeah.
But
let's just talk about DLC.
Well, this is kind of a tie-in to that. It's very closely related, because ultimately it's a pre-order bonus DLC.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you could just not give the upgrade out. What then?
Well, how are you going to justify to your customers, as a game company, how are you going to justify to your customers that are going to buy your game that they should shell out $85 instead of the $60 for the base game? You got to have something to draw them in, and having access to a different flag flying in front of your schoolhouse in SimCity isn't going to do that for most people.
Well, it can do. Because the majority of people don't really buy the deluxe editions.
Right. It's for the people that are really into the series or the
That's why they can only give. That's why they can only do, for example, cosmetic stuff, because they will still buy it.
Well, I think we have to split it into two categories then.
Hmm?
I really do. I think we need to split it into two separated categories. On the one hand, you have cosmetic DLC that does absolutely nothing but change the skin color or the color of pants that the character wears. And that's a relatively simple change. You just go into your HTML code and plug it in. But something that simple, yes, there are people that are going to just shell out for that. But the vast majority of people are going to play the game first. And if they don't like the game, they're not going to buy DLC for it. I have games sitting on my shelf that I know there is DLC out there for it, but I just didn't enjoy the game enough to justify spending extra money on it for cosmetic stuff.
Yeah.
And even for some stuff that improves the game, like map packs and things like that. So you have that aspect to it, and then yes, it is greedy of the companies, but if they're going to get that hardcore crowd, the ones that camped out for 3 weeks in front of their local game shop before SimCity released, and how do you reward those guys? Well, you release a deluxe or a superior edition, and you have to have something in there that'll incentivize that, because otherwise nobody would buy it. If EA came out and said, okay, SimCity 5 is going to have, you're going to be able to change your flag to the German flag, and nobody's going to shell out $85 for that simple of a change. You have to have something more concrete.
Yeah. Well, the in the SimCity Deluxe Edition, if they only had like the what they did give was actually worth the money, but I still feel like the special things if they weren't better than the originals, it would be so much better, because I'd still buy the Deluxe Edition. I like buying it because if I can put a British town model out on my city, that would be cool, or a German one or a French one. I just find it interesting that I have the choice of making different cities look different. I can plonk down the Eiffel Tower in the French-looking town. I can plonk down the Big Ben in the British one. I can put down the Brandenburg Gate in the German one. And I'm good with that.
But would you be willing to shell out an extra $20 for that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you might be. I wouldn't be. That's way too simple of a reward for me.
Well, it's really up to the player, and
ultimately, yeah.
How much you actually do like the games. Now, I thought I'd enjoy SimCity more than I did, but I really didn't. I'm just hoping that there'll be mods for it later, where they expand the cities and actually make the game harder. They have been patching the game, and it is actually harder to complete everything, but it's still way too easy.
Well, they chopped away, 40% of the game in order to get it functioning.
As well.
So now they're slowly bringing things in and testing and.
Yeah. But basically, they didn't deliver what they were promising.
Exactly. And in this particular case, I totally agree. They shouldn't have had the extra incentive, because the game that they presented didn't even meet their original explanation for it, their initial goal sheet. So adding something on extra on top of that, I totally agree. Completely unethical, and let's hand out the pitchforks and torches. But if everything had been according to plan, I don't think I would have had a problem with it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about another DLC subject.
Another DLC subject, okay?
Okay, so we have sort of different types of DLC. And now I want to bring in the prime example, and I've already talked about it, and that's SimCity. No, it's not SimCity. Sims 3. Or the Sims series. You probably know what kind of DLC they have, do you?
I have absolutely no clue.
Okay. So basically this is how they do it. You have the base game, sure, you can play the game, and it does contain the most features. Now, they do bring out a lot of DLC after a while. For Sims 3, they do have a bit of... well, a bit of DLC already. When did they give out Sims 3? In 2009.
Okay.
And so far they have 1, 2... no, that's... the hell is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 DLC? I think.
And what do those packs include?
Wait, that wasn't correct.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and
28.
one that's coming out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's see. The first one was World Adventures. It contains new traits, items, clothing, quests, and new vacation slots and whatever. But then again, you also have pets, where you actually bring in pets and animals, which is a fairly different thing. And then you have, for example, seasons, where you get weather, seasons, and all that.
Oh, okay.
But they usually also bring out cosmetic stuff. So, let's see, now this is the cosmetic stuff they released, and it's also included as, well, it's sort of like DLC as well, don't you agree? And let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and one more coming out. Okay, so you have Katy Perry's Sweet Treats. Okay?
Okay.
So this is basically what it includes. New candy-themed decor, items, outfits, hairstyles, and community lots. Features a similar-ish version of Katy Perry's song, Last Friday Night.
I am totally uninterested in this DLC pack, but continue.
Okay, so what's your... what do you think about just releasing DLC with cosmetic stuff?
Yes and no.
Why?
Well, let me rephrase that. Yes and slightly less yes.
Okay.
Okay. So yes on the side of it's completely optional. It's not required to play the game, unlike the day one DLC that Mass Effect 3 had, where you unlocked the Prothean. You know, that was required for the game, and anybody who says otherwise, they can sit on a corn cob that's attached to a drill and spin. He was an integral part of the story. He cost extra unless you bought it day one. A purely cosmetic pack is completely optional. If I don't want to change my character's hair color, then I don't need to shell out the $5 or the $4 or the 99 cents for that one particular piece, however they decide to break it up. That leaves the power of decision in my hands. But if I really, really think that my character is going to look absolutely amazing if it has a ponytail, you can bet your ass I would shell out money for that. If I thought that the one thing that kept me from identifying with a character that I'm playing in a game was the fact that its hairstyle didn't match my hairstyle, I would pay extra money for that.
All right, granted, so do you... I noticed you mentioned something there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was $5.
Okay.
Do you know how much that DLC pack costs?
I'm assuming $10, because that's pretty standard.
No. $30.
$30. Wait, $30?
Yep.
Okay, that's bloody ridiculous. Like, yes, I don't play Sims, and I'm now pissed off about that.
Yeah.
But I can also see why they did it that way.
Yeah, I do too.
Because based on the list of features that you described, they had to pay a licensing fee for the permission to use that song, that Katy Perry song, whatever the fuck it was. I don't know or care. But they had to pay a licensing fee for that. So they got to recoup that money somehow. And they probably have enough numbers on the consumer reporting side of things that they know they have a lot of people that would be willing to pay just for that.
Yeah, well, I know there are a lot of people that would actually pay for that.
That boggles my mind. Like, I would never shell out that much for it, you know.
No, I wouldn't either.
Not for something purely cosmetic plus a song change.
Yeah. And I think that was probably the most expensive DLC, but still, their DLC usually costs around $15 to $25
for The Sims. See, yeah. and to me, I think pricing is the biggest thing right now. Is one of the biggest things that's going to cause issues, because believe it or not, yes, we feel like DLC has now been around and turning us into consumer whores for ever and a day. But in the reality of things, paid for DLC hasn't been around all that long.
No.
And so everybody's still trying to find that perfect balance of, you know, how much to release for how much. And I think there's some companies that have got it pretty damn tight and nailed down. And then there's others that $30 for fucking hairstyles and a song.
Yeah, it's basically, well, I'm reading now, and it says that this pack is $10 more than the previous pack, costing roughly $10 more.
Does it include the previous pack as well?
No, of course it
doesn't.
Okay,
so yes, and you know, make that more palatable to me. I think that's obviously they were making money off it, and are still intending on it. Otherwise, they'd take it down. But yeah, make that palatable. Halo 3. Is the first one that comes to mind. I'm staring at a Halo Spartan helmet in front of my TV right now, which is why I keep coming back to that. But Halo 3 had a absolutely brilliant way of handling their DLC. If you got their DLC map packs, which were 3 to 5 maps on day one, it was like $10 or $15, somewhere right in there. If you waited a couple of months, it would drop by half.
Yeah.
If you wait another couple of months, it's included in the price of the next pack that they release for the same price.
Yeah.
So Map Pack 2 ends up getting you, 6 maps for $15.
Yeah.
But you have to wait for 4 to 5 months.
Yeah, I have no problems with that at all.
Yeah, make it palatable and make it make sense to your customers. $30 for a damn song, like,
Yeah, it is.
So continuing on, DLC. This is a hot subject. It really is, and it's a difficult one.
Yeah.
And my brain is running at a snail's pace because I've been up for over 24 hours at this point. and have not had nearly enough coffee.
And we've already been talking about DLC for half an hour, and I haven't even noticed.
I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, so, yeah. Like, as I was saying, I have no problems with Halo whatever's DLC, because if you have to wait a couple if they include the previous maps in their DLC, well, the map packs that come out later, I have no problems with that. Go ahead. I have no problems with Sims 3's DLC, because you can buy any of the DLC you want, and they work with the base game. You don't have to have the previous DLC for anything to work. So I have no problems with the Sims 3's DLC. No problems at all. Sure, they can charge as much as they want. I won't buy it if it costs too much. And I don't really want it.
See, and that was why I said yes, I'm okay with that. Is because it ultimately that leaves it up to you as the consumer. That leaves the choice with you.
Yep.
The things that I'm not okay with is when they take a part of the game that is integral to the game and sells it to you after the fact. Even if after the fact is day one.
Yeah.
You know, it's imagine if SimCity 5 suddenly turns around and, I don't know, some feature that they cut in the process of trying to make their shit work properly, they turn around and say, hey, we're going to unlock this feature, we're going to bring it back, but you have to pay us $5 for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's that sort of mentality that it scares me. It really does. And I see more and more companies doing this. And I see more and more games doing that sort of thing. EA BioWare for Mass Effect 3 was the last one that affected me personally. And it absolutely, I was appalled that they would cut the Prothean, Jarvik, I think his name was. It's been a while. But I was appalled that they would cut him out and make him a DLC character. Now, granted, I may be completely off base on this. They might have completed the game and then said, hey, screw it, we're going to add this because it'll be really cool, and they added it right before the game shipped. It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
But I cannot imagine the lack of the lack of content that people who didn't have that character on the game experienced. The depthness of the story was decreased if you don't have him there.
Yeah, I didn't. I know I played all the Mass Effect games, right?
Okay.
But I usually when I pick up the games, I just can't remember what happened in the previous games. It'll just come to me later when I'm thinking about it, and I don't usually get strong attachments to people. But I still chose the same people every time. You know,
wait, just subconsciously.
Well, I kind of remember the characters that I chose because they put an impact on me. I remember them because they followed me throughout the game. I don't know. Those are the things that I remember.
Choice?
Not really. I just chose them because, well, I assume in the first game it was a tactical choice, but later on I just chose them because of their dialogue in the previous games.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually like to see how two of the characters interact. Because I remember in Mass Effect 2 where every time you went into a mission, you had to choose a team, right? Did you have to do that in Mass Effect 3?
Yes.
Did you choose? Or
no,
did you go?
Chose.
Didn't you, in Mass Effect 3, didn't you go to your companions in the ship and ask them to join you? And then when you went out, oh, you chose every time, didn't you?
No, you chose every time as you were leaving the ship.
Yeah, I had a tendency of choosing specific people. If I was stuck, for example, with the big dude, I'd choose, I don't know, the alien dude. I don't remember the names. But
Well,
yeah, the people that interact with each other, I pick them because I find it interesting how they would react with each other. But when I have a choice of who I get to pick, I usually chose two specific people. I think it was Edie and the alien dude or the blue chick. I don't remember.
Liara.
Yeah.
Liara was a biotic, so you had your. Yeah, I see. For me, my initial run through was very tactical based. I was playing a soldier class because that's the default. Anybody can do it, and I was wanting to play for the story, and that was it. And so I chose squad members that would complement me. A biotic was always in, and depending on what my goal was for that mission, I would either stack myself heavy with another soldier, or I would toss in a technician. And for Mass Effect 1, that was fine. Bringing this back to DLC, though, think about the extra characters from Mass Effect 2. Think about what effect they had on the actual story. They really didn't. If you paid the extra money, and I'll admit I paid extra money for one of the characters. I still haven't played the thief, but I got Zaid. And I got Thane. At least I think Thane was optional. I don't remember, but the DLC characters, you paid $5 or $10 for them, and you got two missions. You got their recruitment mission, and you got their loyalty mission. And if you didn't have that, it makes no change to the story at all, anywhere, until you get into Mass Effect 3. And if you didn't have them in 2, you don't know or care about them in 3, so it doesn't affect you there either. Yeah. Mass Effect 3 then changed that and took integral pieces of the story and chopped it out and sold it back to you.
Yeah. I don't like that. But I'm not usually a big guy for DLC either. I buy DLC if it's a game I know I'm going to play, and I've been playing it a lot. Like for StarCraft 2, I'd buy the DLC because they bring in, the next part of the story.
Yeah, I thought they were doing that as kind of an expansion.
Yeah, it is sort of an expansion, I guess. It's not really DLC, but it's still DLC, isn't it?
Well, I don't know on that. Was StarCraft Brood Wars DLC?
No. I don't know.
It was not. It was a separate game, and it added onto the extra story. It was just as long as StarCraft the original.
Yeah, well, in Brood Wars, they change a bunch of stuff, and in multiplayer, they even add new monsters.
Right, but it was its own standalone campaign.
Yes, it has that. Well, it's sort of tied in with the... It's actually the continuation.
Right, it's kind of a sequel, but it was... If you never played StarCraft 2, you could play StarCraft 2 Brood Wars and still have an enjoyable and fantastic experience with it.
Well, you can't just buy it separate.
Well, true, but you didn't have to play StarCraft 2 in order to play Brood Wars. You
No.
just had to have it installed. You didn't have to play it.
No, that's true. So I guess expansions, and then, yeah, because I know that Blizzard isn't big on DLC. I don't think they've released a single DLC. Have they?
Other than... Yeah, no, I can't think of anything.
No, they only have expansions.
Yeah, and it usually adds a significant portion of content to it.
Yeah. So Blizzard,
unless Diablo 3...
thumbs up.
Yeah, unless Diablo 3 has DLC. I can't think of any DLC that...
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Okay, well, DLC is a hot button, and we're kind of coming up on the hour mark, but mentioning Diablo 3 kind of gives me a good segue point, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay, so we're killing the DLC conversation for today. We'll continue it later on. After last week's episode, I got into a discussion with Viva Visor.
Yeah.
And in the comments, and we talked about how the real money auction house and the DRM that was included in all of that was necessary, and we debated it back and forth. I'm sure you've read the comments.
I didn't read the entire thing. There was so much, and I was at work.
Oh, come on! There were only 11 comments.
And you had 2-part comments. You had 1 comment and a part 2 comment.
Blame YouTube. They only give you 450 characters. I can't type a cognizant paragraph in that amount.
Yeah, exactly. It was freaking long and I had a lot to do. And I kind of forgot it later.
But I wanted to bring that up specifically because I just found out one of the biggest reasons why I was in favor of the way they did DRM for Diablo 3 is now completely thrown out the door. Diablo 3's entire economy, including the real money auction house, completely crashed. Why? Because gamers, hackers, found a way to duplicate gold.
Yep.
Bam. And they've been selling it.
Yep.
Diablo 3 done. Total justification for DRM on that? Bye-bye.
Yep.
So
and that's it for Diablo 3. Okay.
Diablo 3. Moving on.
Yep.
There was also something about the Xbox.
I was.
Yeah, I seem to remember you sending me a link.
Maybe I did. What was it about? I don't know. It may have been at work because I don't have logs of my work thing. So.
Yeah, I don't remember, and I'm not at work either, so...
Yeah, that's the thing. We usually chat a lot at work doing this and keep forgetting to send over the frickin' things. Right, so let's just forget about it. We're just waiting for the announcement, pretty much.
Yep. Oh, well, no, I remember, because I also sent it to myself in private message. Microsoft has announced, in defense of their always-on nonsense, they have announced that the new Xbox will have the ability to work even when your internet isn't on.
Okay, that's good.
Now, they don't go into details on it. You know, it could be like the Steam thing where you have to be online once to activate or whatever.
It's probably going to be that.
Most likely, but, you know, I'm willing to... I'm okay with that. I think I'm more okay with that than I am with always on.
Yeah.
Unless they charge me $15 a month on top of.
Yeah. Then you'd have to be online all the time. Right. There was something about World of Warcraft.
You
probably don't have it in your notes. Alright, so one of the biggest guilds in WoW has quite hardcore rating for good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He actually wrote quite a lot. They are no longer going to continue to function as a 25-man raiding group.
How long have they been around?
I don't know. Exodus, does that tell you anything?
No, but I never raided or followed raiding.
They've probably been around for a long time. I don't remember how long. I probably knew back in the day when I was playing, but I can't really remember anymore. But they just can't. They pretty much go about this. Okay, so I'm gonna read some of this. It's almost as if progression itself never really ends after an end-tier boss dies. Combine this with Blizzard actually putting new content out faster, also playing a big role, PTR/beta, which is public test run, dailies, coins, BMAH. I have no idea what that is. Well, you just get lost in it all. And well, Blizzard for World of Warcraft, they add a lot of stuff on. They just keep piling on new stuff, new dailies, new quests all the time. And they even add new bosses, new endgame, and it just never ends. So you have to continue and continue, and you never get to be the best. That may be the reason why they are actually quitting, because you can't become the best if they just keep giving new and new stuff all over, all the time, every, 2 months.
It's a bit longer than that, but yeah, I see your point, and I think that would work really well as the foundation of another episode that I really, really want to talk about, which is the psychology behind game design. Things like Skinner boxes, which WoW has basically perfected.
Okay, we can discuss it then. But yeah, that's pretty much the news on that. There's so much that I've actually been reading up on this week. Let's see. The Wii U.
What about it?
EA ditched it.
What do you mean by ditched?
They didn't really get the Frostbite 2 engine to work properly on it, so they're just giving up on Frostbite 3. They're not going to have support for it. So, no EA games for Wii U. Probably.
Okay. Well, it makes sound business sense.
Yeah. And there's also the EA gun licensing thing. They're giving up on that as well.
Wait, that's the one where they were promoting gun manufacturers that provided the models for Battlefield?
Yeah. But the thing is about that is they weren't really paying them. They had sort of a deal with them where they would use their gun models, and then the gun manufacturers would give certain amounts of money to a certain charity, I think it was.
Okay.
And they're stopping that because of all the alleges towards violence and all that crap that people keep pushing on video games. So
gamers are violent!
Yep, so they gave up on that. There's a new Humble Bundle, I think, out.
What's in it?
Let me just check. I can't remember off the top of my head. So we have Psychonauts. Good game.
Good game.
Costume Quest. Have you
Never heard of it?
It's probably... I've heard it's good. Stacking. Never really heard of it.
Sounds boring, but okay.
Brutal Legend.
Fun game, if a little bit schizophrenic.
Broken Age.
No clue.
Me neither. That's just a Kickstarter project thing. That's if you give $35 or more. And then you have T-shirts. $70 or more. So yeah.
T-shirt. You get a T-shirt back?
Yeah, you get a T-shirt. Choose black
as
or
part
cream.
of the
worldwide shipping included.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's quite cool. What else do we have?
There's a new Call of Duty that's been announced.
I don't care.
I will only care if all of my sword fighting unit brothers decide that is their next big game that they're going to play together. And then I'll probably have one of them buy it for me.
Okay, so you probably heard of this that I'm going to mention now. And that's the Ouya.
I'm sorry?
The Ouya.
That is the independent console that'll stream games.
Yes.
Yes.
There was something about it. I completely forgot what it was. I don't know. What do you think about the concept of Ouya?
I like the concept of it. Coming from the networking infrastructure background that I have and the knowledge that I've been gaining, I don't think it's going to work.
It's not going to work. It's running on the Android system.
Hey, you take that back.
No.
Yes, because if anything could run it, it would be the Android system. The problem isn't the operating system. Because
I know.
99.9% of the entire world runs on Linux, and Android is just a modified version of Linux for the most part.
Yes. But I think the hardware is the limiting factor on this.
I don't think it's even the hardware. I think it is going to be the streaming process, the network infrastructure itself. Because basically what you're doing is you're cloud processing the game. Your Ouya is going to connect back to a cloud-based service, and that cloud service is going to be processing the game. And it's just going to be shunting the feed to you. So you press start on Super Mario Bros. 3, and your input has to travel the entire distance from your location to the cloud service, wherever the hell that might be. And every hop along the way can be a point of failure. And then your input has to be processed, which is going to take time. And then the reaction to that is going to be sent back to you, hitting every single point of every single hop all the way. That's going to be the issue. So unless they spread it around the world, and they have major centers set up in every 500 miles or so, it's not going to be very feasible. I love the idea. Right now, as it stands, not feasible, in my judgment.
Well, there is the thing about you're allowed to root it without voiding warranty.
Oh, okay, but rooting it means that you'll be able to install the Steam console on it and, play PC games on it.
Yeah.
But the principal feature of it, I can't see shelling out money for the ability to have a less powerful PC sitting on my television stand.
Okay, you can just use a standard screwdriver to open it and mod it and possibly add hardware.
Why not just buy a PC at that point?
Yeah, exactly. But it can also be used as a development kit for Android.
Which could be very useful.
Yeah, and you could pretty much just make anything for the Ouya that way. All the Ouya consoles will have the possibility of being dev kits.
Yeah, and I could get behind it for that purpose alone. But the way that they're marketing it is it fails at the network infrastructure.
Basically, this is how it is. All systems can be used as development kits, allowing any Ouya owner and gamer to also be a developer without the need for licensing fees. All games will be required to have some kind of free-to-play aspect, whether that be completely free as a free trial or has purchasable upgrades, levels, and other in-game items. So
free-to-play, but premium services for sale.
Yeah, like Angry Birds.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah. So it's pretty open. If you want to be a developer, get the Ouya. Not really.
Well, it'll be useful for that. But
get a PC. Well, it does only cost, what is it, $99?
Yeah, that if they could solve the networking issue that I foresee, I would totally buy one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy one probably.
Well, you don't have to worry about it with your network.
Well, I'm still not gonna buy one.
Well, why not? It's a brilliant idea.
I have a PC.
Right, but do you not want to see further development in what is available out there?
Not really.
Oh,
I have a phone.
Luddite.
I have an Android phone. I can even just go get my brother's tablet if I want. My mother and sister has an iPad if I really want to play a game. What's the problem?
I like seeing diversity. I like seeing companies try new things. That's why I give props to the season pass DLC. That's why I'm giving props to Blizzard in their fucked up scenario with DRM on the real money auction house. I like seeing companies try new things, even if they're bad things that totally fail. I like seeing it try because that means we're learning more about the environment. We're learning more about the systems behind it. And that can just be progress. Granted, I'm being very optimistic.
Yeah, you
Pragmatically, it's probably going to fuck us all. But I like seeing it.
Yep. Okay. So let's transition on. Because we've talked way too long now. And what will you play this week?
I don't know. I'm not going to have time to play anything until after the end of Battle of Nations. But Monday I have sword fighting practice. And then after that, I might try to keep doing some Tenchu Z. I'm kind of digging on that, and I really should play it. I'm now 3 missions in. I have no idea how long that game is.
Okay. Right. Very interesting. I'm probably going to be playing a lot of the games I've already mentioned earlier.
And Fez, because I'm buying you a copy.
And obviously Fez.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably what's going to be on my platter so far. I don't know. There's been so slow release. I've had no interest in whatsoever in anything that's been released except Fez. So yeah, that's I don't know. That's not just I'm pretty much now in this phase revisiting old games because this is the part of the year where I revisit old games because there's just no interesting releases coming out. Jesus Christ, it's just such a slow time period of the year.
Well, that's a marketing aspect, and we can get into marketing at a later episode too. But yeah, no, I totally agree. This is kind of the time of year that everybody starts filling in on their backlog of games.
Yeah.
You know, you try some new things here and there, Game Dev Tycoon or something like that. But for the most part, play the games that you missed during the last year while you were playing all the new releases from the holidays.
Yeah. Yep.
Like all the games that I'm looking forward to don't come out until October and November.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember. I think there's maybe a Civ 5 DLC or a DLC for Crusader Kings 2 that's coming out that I'm actually looking forward to. So, yeah. Anyways, we're going to end it now.
All right. Guys, thank you, guys and girls, my apologies. Thank you for listening, joining us on this hot button topic round 2 of Time to Live podcast. I'm Reverend.
I'm Quad.
And we're going to sign off. You guys have a great week. See you next time.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.